Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Beyond the Sewing Room. I'm Diane. So today I thought I'd share with you this latest sort of scrap busting make that I've just finished. Now I am still pondering whether just to take in the seams of the skirt a little, just to reduce a little bit of the fullness, because I do faff around with things and I just keep tweaking them until they're perfect for me. But then that's just me. It is meant to be a loose fitting dress. So here's what I've done. I've used 3 pieces of fabric. So I'll get straight on with telling you what I did on this particular make. Now the pattern, as I said in my previous video, is McCalls 8553. I've recently made this for a work project, so I thought I'd try doing some scrap busting and making it for myself. So I'm going to insert some photographs of me wearing it as well. So I've just tried it on because it's only just finished this morning, and everything is sort of what I had to hand. So the zip is from a hoodie from when one of my children were younger, and what I did, I took it out and I stored it, and I tend to do that with bits and bobs just because you can use them at a later date and it saves you buying notions. And I didn't even unpick some of the fabric until I came to use it. I just stored it in a box. So that's that. So I've got this a lightweight metal zip with a white background, and then this is sort of a linen blend, and I've doubled it for the pockets, and I'll insert a little bit of footage about that now. I'll just show a couple of little bits of this, but for the pockets, because I've decided to use this lightweight fabric, I've put interfacing on the inside there, and instead of just doing a turnover at the top, I've done it double like this just to make it a bit more stable, and sewn up the sides. So I'm going to stitch across there, which would have been the original fold line if we'd have just folded it back, but I haven't. And then I've used the darker denim for the bodice there. I've unpicked the rest of my zip. For the collar, I've got 1 piece in the lightweight fabric, and then 1 piece in the darker denim, and then 1 piece in interfacing. For these facing pieces for the inside of the bodice, I've had to use the light denim because I didn't have enough of the dark denim left. So that's what I've done for that one. I've done the sleeve bands in the darker denim, and I've done the sleeves in this lightweight fabric. Now I had to do it that way around because it wouldn't have been enough for me to do it the other way around with the bodice pieces in this one. And also I did think that if I had the denim skirt hanging from such a lightweight fabric, it might have hung a little funny. So that's why I decided on that. So the skirt is actually in the light coloured denim. And then I thought it'd be a better idea to do the bodice in denim and then use these elements on it, because obviously I thought it might pull away if I had the lightweight fabric here and then the denim hanging from it, because it may not have worked very well that way. So I've used a lighter shade of denim on the bottom. So this was also a scrap that I had left, and that's cutting the panels as per the dress, but I had to cut them a little bit narrower because of the amount of fabric that I had. And then also I do still find it quite full, so as I said, I might taper them off a bit as they come outwards just to give it a more streamlined look. The collar, again, I didn't have enough in either one to just do it one colour, but I like this anyway, so I've done it denim underneath and then the lightweight linen blend on top. The sleeves are in the linen blend but with a denim cuff, and then that's interfaced. I also found that I didn't have enough to go down the front and do the facing, so I've done that one in the lightweight denim look, but I've used the dark top stitching on that. And then the zip was a longer one that I've shortened. Again, I'll show an image of that. I've just added a little bit of denim onto the bottom of my zip here because this is the one that I took out of a hoodie, and it's a bit tatty in places, but also I've had to shorten it by quite a lot, so I've just added some denim to the bottom of it. So yes, that's just got a little tab on the bottom there, look now, made out of denim. And then I've overlocked the insides. I also didn't add pockets on this one because of it being a scrap busting project. Now, a few other things I would like to mention that you can also do if you're scrap busting or if you're changing up this pattern a little bit is the back of it just sort of just hang with the gathers, and it is meant to be like that because it's a loose fit. I think, and I may do this, if you just cut yourself a small strip of wide elastic, and you could stitch that into the back of the skirt, just below where the skirt meets the bodice at the back, just a small strip. Test it, pin it in place first or tack it in place and try it, and then machine stitch that in. That will bring it in at the back if you want a more fitted dress around the body. It is meant to be loose, but I do tend to like things to sort of fit, and it's just one of my pet things. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do with mine. To just finish it off, I think I'm going to cut a strip of elastic and just add it in on the inside, just so that it brings it in at the back of the waist, in the small of the back there, just to give it a bit more definition on the back. So that's one thing I'm going to do. There's ways you can change up the sleeve, of course. I mean, I've used a different colour fabric and cuff here. You could do pleats in the cuff instead of gathering stitches. That could make it look a little bit more structured. You could add tabs and buttons on your pockets if you want to give it a little bit more detail just here. On the one that I did for the work project, we did change up the pulley as well. So if you follow over on Minerva, if you follow the Minerva channel, that will be coming on there. I don't know when, because that's their video now. But yeah, that's just something to think about, adding on things like that. Always adding a contrasting collar is something just to give it a little bit extra. So that you could add a band around the bottom of the skirt. So if you're scrap busting and you want to, because this is different, tie this in with the top of the bodice, you could use one of these colours or fabrics and add a contrasting hem or band around the bottom of the dress, or even do some panels going down these seam lines in a different colour, or piping. That's something you could do. So there's lots of different things that you could do to use up all your scraps. So I've enjoyed making it. I do think it's a nice shape and it's got nice details, but like I say, I always do faff around and tweak them a little bit just to make them for me. The other thing is, as you will see in the photos, I've done it down to knee length. I think I'll probably wear it a few times and then decide whether I want to make it just a little bit shorter for the summer. But I sometimes do that. I'll wear them a few times, see how I feel in them. Sometimes it's better to go a little bit longer at first because you're not always sure how they're going to hang, especially when you're wearing them out and about. So if you wear them and then you think, yeah, it could come up just a touch, you can just make it a little bit shorter. And sometimes just changing the length completely changes the look of a dress. I think sort of in between dresses can sometimes look a little bit old-fashioned, either longer or shorter, and then sometimes you have them just in between and they don't always look quite right, and then you take a little bit off and it just makes them look better. But in the summer, when you're bare-legged, you might not want to go too short with that. So do maybe wear it first and then see how you feel if you're planning on doing that. So that's just a few things that I found from making this, and I really enjoyed using up oddments and scraps of fabric because it's always good to get out those bits and do something with them. And sometimes even if you don't like the finished product, it's a good way to try things, test out skills and so on. So I would recommend doing it even if you think, oh, I'm not sure if I like that or not. If they're just sat in a drawer and you fancy trying something out, it can be a good way to just test something out and think, well, maybe I didn't like that version, but I might like it in these colours, or it might just be a good way to test out a pattern. So you could use all different pieces, test the pattern, get the fit perfect, and then do it in a different fabric. So it's always good to save those pieces and try things. So that's this one. So that's my first scrap busting make off my list. And then next up, I'm going to do the floral top. So the fabric that I showed in the previous video was this one. So I think I will make a little top with this one, as I suggested. I mean, this is another version of a top that I had on the other day. And again, it's just got a different sleeve. So just changing up the sleeves, that can mean a world of difference for the look of a top. It can be exactly the same top, but with all different sleeve styles, they all look completely different. Another thing is just changing up the neckline a little bit. Again, this one has a button at the back. Whether I do it on this one depends on the size of the neckline that I'll be doing. So if I can get it on and off without, sometimes it's just an extra step you don't need, but it can just be a nice feature as well at the back to have a little vent and a button. So I'll see how I feel about that, but this one's definitely going to be a top. So that will be next on my list. And Please feel free to let me know any comments, what you feel about this, if you'll be trying that, if you'll be doing any stash busting to try out one of your patterns. I did get a comment, thank you for saying maybe don't put the light and the heavy fabrics together, and I did take this on board, and I was already thinking that yes, maybe hanging from the denim skirt, hanging from the lightweight fabric would not be a good idea, but I think it works well this way because you've got the two denims and then this light fabric is just accents, so it's not really got a lot of weight hanging from it. We've just got a band here, and as I said, the collar is in denim underneath anyway. So yes, so I've strengthened it by doubling it up and so on, apart from on the sleeves in various places. So I think that's worked well. So it's always handy to get those comments and ideas from other people as well, and we can all share and give encouragement, can't we? Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with more sewing makes for you. Bye for now.